And hey you guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about the black community and our men and why we shame our men for showing emotions and for having feelings and so-called being sensitive. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about because that's kind of been bothering me for a while now.
Ain't see it yet, but gotta feel your emptiness. Along the way you'll make some progress. You gon' have to trust the process. Look at me, I know I've been down this road before. I wrestled God to let me go, but I'm so grateful He said no. This is not your final call. This is not the last act. You gon' take it all. Just hold on. I know He gon' bring you back.
So I don't know if anybody remembers when that thing happened with Tyrese and his daughter, and he made a video crying and reaching out and basically just venting, being human. And people were like shaming him for it. They were shaming him for showing emotion, calling him less of a man, and shaming him for loving his daughter enough to the point where it even brought him there. It took him to a place where he was hysterical and having a breakdown. And instead of people showing support, and instead of people acknowledging that, okay, this man, he's a man, but he's human and he has emotions and he needs to be consoled, people were making fun of him. And that really bothered me. And it really made me really think about and reflect on my life and try and figure out if the men in my life show any type of emotion, or even men that I've dated. Like, a lot of men, I noticed they are very guarded with their emotions, and they feel like they have to walk around manly all the time, and that manly equals that a man doesn't cry, or a man doesn't show his emotions. He's to be hardened. And it's sad because that's not true. And I feel like people really need to stop putting that out there. Men are human too. Men have emotions too. I have a son. He's a Pisces. And sometimes I have to catch myself, because sometimes subconsciously I'm programmed to be like, your boy, cut that shit out. But then I have to correct myself because like I said, my son, he by nature, he's just very sensitive. He's a Pisces, and Pisces, a lot of Pisces men are really sensitive just in general. That's who they are. And I have to catch myself all the time because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm less I don't want to say less sensitive, but when I speak, I'm a lot more blunt. Like, I don't take into account that something that I say, like I say something to him and he might take it a whole nother way and be very sensitive or offended by it, or take it in a way that I don't mean it. But because I didn't dress it up before I said it, I just said it. So yeah, having a son that is very sensitive, it's very hard. And I have to reset the way I think, because I'm like, okay, he's a boy, but he has emotions too. He has feelings too. Who am I to tell him that he's wrong for feeling a way, or for expressing his emotions in the way that he wants to? Now, I'm not saying to go be out here all crying and boo-hooing and stuff like that, but when appropriate, it is appropriate to show your emotion. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Now, for the situation with Tyrese, that it was very appropriate, the situation. This is a man who has not been able to see his daughter and just wants to see his daughter and misses his daughter, and he has tried multiple different ways. That was a situation that is very okay for a man to now show that side of him. It's not like he was just being a big old fat crybaby. No, this man emotionally, internally is feeling pain. And it was very appropriate, I feel like, for him to vent in the way that he did. Should he be shunned for it? No. Hell no. If anything, he needs some kind of support. And if you can relate in any way, then that's your time to chime in and let him know. Or even if you are understanding, that's your time to let him know that it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Why do we have to make it out to be that he has some kind of mental problem? Because he's human and he has feelings. I don't get it. So yeah, definitely a lot of times, because I don't want my son to grow up with that idea that because he's a boy, he has to act a certain way and pretend like he doesn't have emotions. No, we're not doing that. So I definitely, if I ever catch myself telling him, hey, cut that out, or man up, or whatever, sometimes you do need to, like, I'm not gonna say, like, sometimes if he's whining about something stupid, then that's when you be like, you need to man up, cut that shit out. But if he has a legitimate reason, or say I did something or said something, or his sisters are doing something that is cutting deep, is causing him emotional distress, or whatever the case may be, then it is very appropriate for him to display his emotions. And then once he displays his emotions, and it's okay for him to come to me emotional to try and gain understanding, or just emotional in general, and then it's my job to try and gain understanding of what's going on, and to help him figure it out. And I noticed that in the Black community, or that's like shunned upon, and it really needs to stop, because then what do we create? If you don't allow a man to express his emotions and his feelings, and you calling him soft for doing so, then you create just a hardened boy who grows up to be a hardened man, who then doesn't know how to manage his emotions, and doesn't know how to manage or compartmentalize anything that he's feeling, because he was taught to suppress it. He was taught that men don't do that, and to suppress this and to just swallow it. And then we have a bunch of men whose cups are overflowing with anger and confusion, and then they end up doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, and end up in jail, or worse, killed, because they're dealing with the things that are bothering them in an unhealthy manner. And so, yeah, it's very important that as a community, we stop doing that. Stop telling your sons to stop crying, or stop telling them don't be emotional. Men are not emotional. Don't do that, because you're creating a monster. You creating a monster that is not going to be easy to defeat. So that's all I really had to say. I'm not about to make no huge long video, but I think it's very important that we as people, especially in the Black community, teach our sons and our men that it's okay to be human. It's okay to show emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay, like, to feel. Because that's when we end up with a bunch of men walking around here like zombies with no feelings, or claiming to have no feelings, and hardened, and fuck the world, and all kinds of stuff. I don't want my son to be like that. I want my son to be manly, but to also, when it's appropriate, to show his emotions, and to be able to break down how he's feeling, and to feel comfortable talking to people about how he's feeling, and to find understanding so that he doesn't have to feel that way anymore. So yeah, anyways, that is really all that I'm going to say on this topic right now. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, leave it in the comment boxes, and I will get back to you guys.
So much pain. What don't kill you make you stronger. Even if it